So what do you guys, think? We've been, this is week 22, right? We've been going obviously for a while, and kind of after the first 8 weeks, we changed it up, right? We were going where we were only doing the strength training stuff 2 days a week and doing the the fitness classes 3 days a week, and then we went to 4 days a week on the strengthening, and just wanted to hear what your guys' opinions have been on what you're experiencing, and the I guess the whole experience here. Yeah.
You want to
go? You going, Jim?
I mean, sure, I'll speak. Well, look, was it age before beauty on this one? I would argue that, look, truthfully, we've talked about it. As you get up a little bit further in years, your needs from an exercise and fitness perspective change a little bit. So for me, what's been great over these last X number of weeks is, yes, we're improving my strength and fitness, which is important. But what I'm also getting from it is stability, balance, mobility, things you don't typically think about. At least I hadn't in my former athletic years, if you will. And so I've liked it. I'm getting more of what I consider to be a full 360 approach to fitness. Like I said, it's not just strength and conditioning. I'm getting that balance and coordination, things that I see in other activities that I do outside of our workouts.
Yeah. And the balance has been a big thing. That's something that's really, we've really been able to see a difference with you. And then I think that the pull-ups have been another thing that have dramatically improved, right, compared to the beginning.
Well,
how old are you? How old are you again?
56.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like we've been holding back that much considering your age and your past injuries and things like that. I mean, you're really still pushing it and still feeling good, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I would argue that the other pieces, and we've talked about it, is you provide the kind of the technical analysis of how we perform some of these exercises. I use the pull-up as an example. Is we've tweaked the mechanics of my pull-up to look, in part, address just old injuries that I have, whether it's a shoulder or what have you, but also to get more out of the exercise with less pain. If that's
right.
Possible. Does that make sense? So
oh yeah, exactly.
I argue that the kind of technical analysis that you do and advice that you provide, just the little tweaks, I'm getting more from the exercise with less pain, which is, again, as you get older, becomes even more important.
Right. What did you think about all the eccentrics and isometrics when we were doing those initially? Because I knew that was kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah, so I'd never done those. Certainly not who knows? Maybe I did a little some of the eccentrics, but yeah, I questioned a little bit at the beginning. That I kind of probably pushed back a little bit because I'm kind of old meathead workouts, and so. But again, what I found was over time, my strength was improving, right, without having that excess stress that I was used to putting on my joints and muscles from trying to, maybe do more weight. So it's a more controlled exercise, I think. I'm getting the same outcomes with strength. Again, without maybe some of the similar, without some of the pains and injuries you might typically get. And I'd argue that it's more controlled. And again, it's back to that stability issue that, again, listen, of all ages, I keep saying, at 56, I'd argue at all ages, you need that. And so it's a better workout at least for me. Yeah.
Right. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think, I agree with everything that Jim said. One of the things that's important to me, we're all in different places and have different goals. So I like the fact that we are thinking about what those goals are in our different body types and making workouts for what we want to accomplish is good for me. I also agree with what Jim said. My ability to get strong and feel like I'm getting a great workout, getting stronger without pain or being able to walk the next day or sleep on my side or something like that is huge for me. And I think everything that we're doing feels functional or athletic, something you can take into, a sport, the real world, whatever it is that you're doing. And, I like the fact that what we're doing is holistic too. It's not just focused on, one aspect of training. I feel like every time we're getting a good workout and I'm not missing anything, which I think with some programs that I've done in the past, I feel like I might be missing something, whether it's, a specific muscle group or, stability maybe, or balance or other things. I feel like I'm getting something more complete, which is, makes things more efficient too. That's for sure.
Well, and I think for both of you guys, one of the cool parts, and it's ultimately a challenge, especially on the distance side for me, and just in general, it's always the challenge for me working with people over the years, and I've really come to realize this. It's hard to control what you're doing outside of these training sessions, right? So, like, especially when I work with all the athletes, they're going and doing, and you guys are just like them because you're very motivated and competitive, and you guys get after it every day, and I had a kid the other day that I had him do a bench press workout, a chest workout at my training session on Monday. And then he went and did another chest training session on Tuesday. And he didn't, he comes in on Wednesday. He's like, my chest is killing me. And I'm like, well, you're not supposed to do that, but he just didn't know. And it's like, well, I don't think to say to that kid, hey, don't go do that on Tuesday. It's like you'd think that he's going to know, but he ended up going and doing a workout with his brother. But, for the professional athletes, it's kind of the same thing. They have these other things that they have to go do in their training. So it's hard to sometimes, get the right workout set up for somebody not knowing exactly what they're going to be doing outside. And Jim, you've been doing these other workouts, with the trainer, the more functional boxing workouts. And Chris, you've been doing jujitsu and stacking wood and whatever other, physical stuff that you do. So, I'd like to hear, on some line, like, how is that, Chris, ultimately too, with how's it benefited you for jiu-jitsu, and how's that been, mixing in with with the other things that you guys are doing, running sprints. You guys have been doing a lot of other stuff outside of these workouts too. So.
Yeah, I would say from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, I definitely feel stronger. As I'm rolling. But also I feel, this is going to be silly to say, but for those that do jiu-jitsu know what I'm talking about. I feel like I can stand more upright as I walk out of the gym. You know what I mean? And I feel a little bit better physically. I do think that strength training is an important part of jiu-jitsu and flexibility and balance and other things. And you will definitely put a lot of wear and tear on your body if you're not doing some strength and conditioning outside of or off the mats. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm more upright and less hunched over and more durable, as a general statement, since we've started working out. So it's definitely had a positive impact on my outside of this.
And you're being humble. You don't want to talk about how you're smashing everybody.
Yeah. I would say, if I was before, if I had a grip or I was, making a move or whatever, I've definitely added some torque, to that move or whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So, that definitely, without a doubt, helps. Technique is, the primary focus in my training, but if you don't have strength to back it up, it's very hard to execute that technique, especially on a bigger opponent. So yeah, it's definitely, without a doubt, beneficial.
And you had said this is, kind of probably the most consistent that you have been able to be, like 4 days a week like this, and also continue to do jiu-jitsu, as jiu-jitsu, got back into, with the quarantine situation, you were able to start going more consistently, right? You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, Jim's got me by a couple of years, but look, I'm a couple, I got a job and I got kids and I got, stuff, right? And I've always been pretty regimented with physical fitness. But you know, I've made choices in the past. Do I go lift weights or do I go to jiu-jitsu? I really have fun with jiu-jitsu, so I've gone to jiu-jitsu, you know, and I've chose that in the past. You know, I was consistent maybe back in college. I played college sports and was consistent then, but this is definitely in my adult life when it comes to strength training. This is definitely the most consistent that I've been. And you know, I think the motivation that we bring each other is helpful, for me at least, and yeah, it helps me drive through. And those days when I don't feel like working out, get the workout in. Holding each other accountable is important. I think, you know, no matter what workout you have, if you do it for a week, it's not going to matter. You know, we've done, what do you say, 20 weeks or something like that
22.
at this point. 22. So yeah, that consistency, you're going to see gains. So yeah, it's been positive, very, very positive.
Nice. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Chris has said. Well, look, I'm not smashing anybody in my off time like he did. But, you know, as to the earlier conversation about its impact on other things we're doing, yeah, you know, I've been doing some other things outside of this that require, you know, a lot more balance and coordination. And,
Right.
you know, a lot of what we do, and I've seen a marked improvement in that balance and coordination and the other things that I do. And then, you know, you reference, I like to, you know, run, kind of a weekend runner, but they're more sprints. Don't have a lot of distance in me, but I've noticed an improvement in mechanics, speed for what's little is left in me, though that's improved. I used to pull a hamstring, you know, multiple times a year doing that stuff. And so I've, like I said, flexibility, mobility, wherever is improved. So yeah, I've seen a big impact on, like I said, things outside of what we do here in the gym. You know, the other thing in terms of consistency, you know, I also questioned when we first started, you know, doing this over Zoom. I was always a, you know, go to the gym kind of guy. And
Right.
I'm preferring this format, you know. You know, it hasn't, in my opinion, impacted my workouts in a negative way at all. And you're able to still critique what I'm doing, right? Even if it means moving the camera
Right.
where it might be. And so I've also found this format to be, I'm liking it more now. You know, it's convenient and for me as effective. The last piece I would add is, you know, look, your PT background, especially, you know, for me with a bunch of, you know, older injuries from my sports days, shoulders, knees, backs, you know, getting back to, you know, tweaking the exercises or the mechanics of a certain exercise to, you know, address those issues. It's a big deal. So we've talked about my shoulders. I had shoulder injuries all my life. And, you know, so I used to shy away from certain shoulder exercises, but you change the mechanics and now I'm doing weight that I never, like I said, from a strength perspective. So it's all good stuff.
How's your hip feeling? I know that was a big issue that we were, you know, trying to address early on. I don't know if we've talked about that. I haven't heard you complain about it actually in a little while.
Yeah. Well, look, you know, you got me to stretch. Let's start with that.
Yeah. There you go.
You can't teach an old dog some new tricks, right?
Yeah.
Pressed upon me the importance of stretching. And yeah, look, some of the exercises that we're doing are clearly having a positive impact. So, you know, I'm not having those issues. Quite honestly, though, when we first started working out, those back issues were related to someone else I was exercising with. And I think we were
right.
That, you know, I was doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing in a way that I should have been doing them. So, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, me being a PT, you're always thinking about that because the injuries can really derail things, right? So you're trying to stay in shape, but the injuries end up stopping you from making progress or end up, you know, literally making you end up stopping training and having to focus on the rehab process. So I was a little worried about that early on, you know, if we were going to be able to continue moving forward or if you were going to end eventually. Now knowing your guys' personalities, you're never going to stop. So, which is the cool part, you're going to work through it and do whatever. But at the onset, I was worried about that, you know, if your back and your hip was going to allow us to continue. And then, you know, kind of the same thing. Chris ends up tweaking his knee, whatever it was, a month or two ago. I started thinking, oh man, is he going to end up, not being able to continue with this? And we were able to work around that and make the adjustments, which was pretty cool. So I don't know. What else? Anything else you guys want to add?
Chris?
No, it's good stuff. No, it's good stuff.
All right.
We'll stay at it.
No, yeah, that's. I'm glad that you guys are happy with it and making the progress. The other thing is, what you said, Jim. I've actually found this as enjoyable, if not more enjoyable, than working with people in person as well. It's almost like it's more intimate, almost, right? It's almost like you're more one-on-one than you are in person for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. It's because it's kind of like you have to communicate, right?
You're in my house. You know what I mean? You're in my house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. And you're in my house right now too, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And I got kids walking aroround in the background, and
right.
bring family members.
Jim's had family members in to work out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been cool. All right,
Guys,
fellas.
jump on